Well, that's not made up.
What the hell is that?
You tell me. It's under your house.
Casey, we have good reason to believe that Carl's dead and that you had a hand in burying him under your apartment.
Those are some pretty sick allegations, man.
Meet 29-year-old Casey Bach, one of the two individuals behind the mysterious disappearance of Carl Beeman Jr., and as detectives question her partner in crime, Leroy Crawford.
What happened to KJ, that's not a one-person job. There's other people.
They will turn on each other as they realize their evil murder plot has gone up in flames.
It's not my fault. The man told me he'd hurt me if I didn't help him.
We've talked to a lot of people that also have knowledge about it, and I can tell you that right now all fingers are pointing. I think I'm done.
On April 1st, 2023, law enforcement in Aurora, Colorado received the lead of a lifetime. In a frantic state, 29-year-old Casey Bach had confessed to her neighbor about a heinous crime. According to Casey, her boyfriend Leroy Crawford had murdered his friend of 2 decades, Carl Beeman Jr., and the two had buried him in the crawlspace of Casey's condo to cover up the crime. The story seemed insane at first, but when police were informed that no one had seen Carl in close to a year, they launched into action. Fortunately, Casey had warrants out for traffic citations, so police were able to bring her in on those charges. And Leroy? Well, he was already behind bars on an unrelated charge. Getting them in for questioning was a breeze, but getting the truth? That's a different story. The following footage was provided to us via FOIA request by the Aurora Police Department in Colorado.
I understand that this probably is a little shocking, with everything going on. I'm sure you didn't expect.
Just don't understand.
Okay, and we're going to explain it to you, all right? But we are going to have some questions for you, okay? Do you understand that you do have a warrant for your arrest? It's like a little traffic warrant.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure that you understand that.
Mm-hmm.
We do record all our interviews, so obviously, we see cameras and stuff. I mean, we all have cameras these days. I just want you to understand that as well. Because we do have you here, and we're going to ask you questions about a crime that might have occurred, I do have to read you your rights before I talk to you, okay? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're under arrest. It just, because they put handcuffs on you, they brought you over here to headquarters, we have to go through that formality, okay? Have you ever been through that before?
No.
Okay. Well, we have a form, all right? And I just read directly from the form. That way there's no issues with what we're talking about.
The detective reads Casey her Miranda rights, and it seems that at this point, she finally starts to realize that the police couldn't care less about her unpaid traffic citations.
With these rights in mind, do you wish to talk to us now?
Depending.
Well, I mean, it's your choice, so you can say whatever you would like.
So far, I don't mind.
Okay. Can I check yes? And keep in mind, that goes into my next point here. All right. It says you can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make statements. Okay. All right. Can I have you sign right here and put the date? It's April 4th, 2023. Thank you. And I'm going to sign too, okay? All right, Casey. Like I said, we can explain to you everything that we have going on, okay? I would ask you, I'd kind of like to open it up to you. Do you think that there might be a reason that you would have some detectives talking to you like this, asking you questions? No? Is there nothing you can think of at all?
I know that my children's father got arrested by Arapahoe County and is getting charged with charges that he did not commit. And I know that I live next door to National Security and they have been drilling holes in my walls and spying on me. And I know that Aurora is not the kindliest for police brutality, making up stuff. I've been dealing with this for about a year. I'm a Colorado citizen, born and raised here. This is my first time ever in Aurora, and it has ruined my life.
The NSA stalking her and her neighbor drilling holes in her walls to spy on her is, surprisingly, not the most delusional thing you're going to hear Casey say today.
Most females don't like me because I'm prettier than them. So
In Casey's mind, the police, the NSA, her neighbor, and jealous women have been trying to ruin her life. In reality, she's doing a pretty good job ruining it all by herself. At the time of this interrogation, she was unemployed with several children, struggling with addiction, and pining after a man behind bars who, according to her, was set up and framed by the police department. But the police would have had to have been working overtime to frame Leroy for the sheer amount of crimes he's been charged with. The charges Casey is currently referring to are attempted murder charges from an incident in March of 2022, when Leroy allegedly got caught stealing a catalytic converter. When the owner of the car confronted him, Leroy fired shots at the man's head. Fortunately, he's about as good of a shot as he is a thief, so the man survived with no injuries. On top of that, at the time of that incident, Leroy was already on probation for a grand theft auto charge, which Casey had bailed him out on. If Casey actually thinks Leroy is an innocent man being set up, then it's not just people in her walls that she's delusional about.
Well, I'll just start by laying it out like this. We are part of the major crime section. Okay, we handle a whole gamut of crimes to include missing persons cases. There's been some information that we've received, and we have a search warrant for your apartment. We have a search warrant for your kind of part of your building as well. Yeah, I'll kind of start by asking, who do you normally leave your kids with, or who do you?
I don't have anybody.
You don't have anybody? Okay. Is there somebody that you've left your kids with in the past?
Well, yeah, but
Okay. Who is that?
my mother.
Your mom. What about anybody locally or any friends of your
I don't
kids?
have anyone locally. My children don't have any friends here. I don't have any friends here. I keep to myself.
Mm-hmm. All right. So there's nobody that your kids stay with every once in a while or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Is there any reason somebody would tell us something like that?
I got a job a few months back. My daughter did have a friend at school, and I knew that she lived in the same apartment complex. So I walked up to this lady and asked if she could help me because I needed a babysitter. We became friends, and somebody broke her window, I'm guessing, here a few days ago, and she thinks it's me.
Okay. Why would she think it was you?
Because I just told her a few days prior, as I seen all these undercovers around, to basically.
Oh, you told this person. Okay.
And I told her to
What's
stay
her
away
name?
from me and my children.
Okay. What's her name?
Sierra.
Okay. So why did you tell Sierra to stay away from you?
Because I caught her in a lie.
And what was that? What was the
Something
lie?
as simple as she wasn't in the back of her car when I seen her in the back of her car. If you're gonna lie about one thing, what are you lying about?
What do you mean by that? She wasn't in the back of her car.
I seen her in the back of her car.
Okay.
And this day there was a bunch of undercovers around outside. Like I've been going through a lot for a year. Like I said, I'm not naive to what's around me, and I'm not naive to the world trying to set people up either. I'm just trying to keep me and my children safe.
And I understand that might be difficult. The father of your children, who is that? You said he's currently arrested. Can you tell me who that is?
Mr. Crawford.
Okay. And how long has he been in custody?
Almost a year now.
Yeah, I imagine that's very hard. We're not trying to make light of the situation. We're not trying to insult you. We're just trying to get some background, okay? And I'm just trying to have a conversation with you so I can get an understanding about you, okay? And I promise I'm going to get to the point here, all right? But I'm just trying to get some background information on you, and that way we can have a good conversation about this, all right?
Some background about me. Would you like
Well,
to know the background?
Because I've
about
never
me?
met you before. That's why. And to have a conversation with you, I have to ask questions about you. Okay, so let's kind of back up to what's happened with you and Sierra over the past, I don't know, a couple weeks or whatever when you told her. Was there any specific, other than you saw these undercovers, was there any specific incident that made you feel like that, or was it just her being in the back of her car?
No, it was just her lying about being in the back of her car.
Okay. And that upset you because you thought there were police around the
No, there
apartment?
were police around.
Okay.
There was undercovers all over, and I didn't understand. And I don't know why she would lie to me about not being in the back of her vehicle when I, clear as day, was right behind her and seen it.
And why did that worry you?
Because I don't like being lied to, for one.
I mean, anything else? Did you think she was like working with the police, or did you think, I mean,
Kind of. The only reason the girl puts stuff in the back of her car is to move car seats so all 4 children can fit in her vehicle.
when you say all 4 children, you mean?
My children.
Sierra, Casey's neighbor, was in fact working with the police, but not until after Casey had accused her of doing so. After Casey confessed her crimes to Sierra, Sierra contacted KG's mother, who then contacted the police, and the two spoke with the Aurora Police Department at length.
As I mentioned before, we have a search warrant for your apartment. Okay? Do you have any idea why we might have a search warrant for your apartment? Do you think there's anything that we may find in your apartment? Anything that would be very alarming or suspicious?
I have a meth pipe in my bedroom.
We're not worried about
I have 2 guns that I legally own.
that. Yeah.
I have nothing else in my house.
We're not worried about that either. Okay? If you were lawfully allowed to possess a firearm, then that's not.
I'm more so worried about my dogs that I feel like you guys are going to shoot.
Okay, well, they seem to be doing just fine. Okay, I don't think you have to worry about that. All right, and I don't see any issues with your dogs getting back to you either. Okay, you don't need to worry about some of those things. So, our concern is that it sounds like you may have made some statements about somebody being buried in your apartment. Okay, I'm gonna cut to the chase. Okay. That's why we're here. That's why we ended up having a search warrant for the apartment. We also understand that the circumstances seem a little bit odd, which is why we're trying to be very accommodating to you. We're going to make sure your kids are taken care of, like all those things. You know, SWAT team didn't just blow the house open or anything like that. You know, we understand that it's kind of an odd situation. So that's why we're kind of going about it the way that we are.
There's statements of what now? Of I've buried?
Not necessarily that you have buried, but we have heard that you made statements that there might be somebody buried in your apartment. More specifically, there's like a crawl space under your apartment.
There is a crawl space. I've locked it because I'm terrified of that.
Okay.
There's people who go under there all the time, just messing with me and my kids.
Okay.
It's kind of scary.
Okay.
A backstory on me is in Arvada, I had doors kicked in my faces. I was almost killed by a Banditos biker.
I'm sorry.
That's why the arrest warrants, those all happened in this same time of my life. Okay, I'm running. I ran to Aurora so nobody would find me as this man's about to get back out of prison.
Is that Mr. Crawford?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I
You're
didn't.
fine.
I mixed up who we were talking about. That's the person who was in this Bandito. Is that
Yeah.
correct? Oh, okay.
It was,
Okay.
maybe one of her nigger boyfriends liked me and she didn't like that.
Well, in that case, we'll just cut to the chase. Like we're gonna go into the crawl space. Are we gonna find anything in there?
Not for me, no.
Okay, you say not from you. Will we find it from anybody else?
I've never been inside the crawl space. I have no association with the crawl space besides that there was 2 men standing right next to the entrance of the outside. And the entrance to my house is right there too. I locked the crawl space because I was scared. Okay, like I said, when I moved here, I had banditos looking for me. I've had all sorts of people that have made me scared. I'm not just gonna sit there and that's why I moved to Aurora. Like I said, I'm trying to stay low. I didn't let anybody know where I lived.
Okay.
For several years, Casey worked for a successful company and had made a promising life for her children and herself. Perhaps it's not surprising, but her demise had nothing to do with the make-believe banditos, spies, or the so-called strangers that were sneaking into her crawl space. As you've likely surmised by now, Casey is struggling with substance use, particularly, shall we say, the Walter White kind. In later interrogations and court appearances, it becomes clear that she's a very different person when she's clean. Unfortunately, that's one of the worst things about substance use, and unsurprisingly, substance use plays a big role in the horrible situation that Casey will slowly detail for law enforcement.
Can I show you another picture, and maybe you can tell me if you know this person? Okay.
KJ.
KJ? Okay. Do you know his... I recognize the name KJ. Do you know what his first name actually is?
Carl.
Carl. Do you know his last name?
Beeman.
Okay. How do you know KJ?
Me and Leroy used to stay with him a few years back when we were homeless.
Okay.
Him and Leroy were best friends.
They were best friends?
No, they are best friends.
When was the last time you saw KJ?
I don't know. The day of court.
Which day of court?
It was when I was granted temporary full custody of my children. It was the first time I seen KJ in a while. He walked in with Leroy.
Okay, how long ago was that? When do you think?
I don't know, I was still in my old apartment. So, June of 2021?
So the last time you saw him was in June of 2021?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You said him and Leroy were best friends.
Yeah, they've been friends that I was told for like 12 years.
Okay. Have you heard from or seen KJ recently?
Mm-hmm. I know that my neighbor, my old neighbor, she said something about he came up missing.
When was
I
that?
have heard. I don't know. She told me this probably like 8 months ago, I feel like, a year ago.
Where was that neighbor?
Where's the
I'm
neighbor?
gonna set this off. Yeah, we're gonna just put it on silent, okay, since we got your mom taken care of. I'm sorry, was that in this current complex, the apartment that you're in now?
I mean, yeah.
But so the neighbor
It was
there said he was missing?
my old neighbor from Arvada, yeah.
From Arvada said that they thought he was missing. Did KJ ever stay at your current apartment?
No,
Did he ever have any interaction with your kids?
no.
Okay. Did your kids know KJ or Carl?
We were just talking about Uncle. They know him as Uncle KJ.
Uncle KJ?
Yeah.
Okay. Would it surprise you to hear that one of your kids made a comment saying that they don't see him anymore and they miss him?
Would it be surprising?
Yeah.
I mean, no, we don't see him anymore.
Okay. Do you know what happened to him?
We don't.
You have no idea what happened to him.
No.
Okay.
I'm guessing that means he's not found.
Him and Leroy, you said were best friends initially, and then you said they are best friends.
Well, Leroy's been in jail for a year.
Right. Since what?
September.
September. That's in Jefferson County. Is that right? Okay. Before Leroy was in jail, was KJ still around?
That I'm aware of, yeah.
Okay. And then after, when KJ went to jail, did you see him anymore?
After what? I'm sorry?
After Leroy went to jail, did you see KJ anymore?
No.
Okay.
I haven't seen KJ since, like I said, that court date.
Okay. And I'm not fishing for other cases or anything like that, but did Leroy and KJ, did they commit crimes together? We don't have to be specific. I'm not trying to create any other cases or anything like that. But did they do things like that together?
I don't know.
What happened with their relationship?
I don't know.
And how often before you didn't see him? How often did you see him? Like before he went missing or you never saw him again? What was the frequency that you saw KJ?
KJ lived in Arizona.
Okay. Did he come back and live here?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, again, just jumping right to it. I mean, did Leroy and KJ have some sort of falling out, some sort of argument?
I wouldn't know that. I know that I was surprised to see KJ in court with Leroy, just because KJ didn't live out here.
Mm-hmm. When was that?
Like I said, that was July, June-ish, 21.
21.
I got into domestic violence with my children's father. It was a protection order, so I don't know what his life was like. I tried to stay away from him at that time too.
From Leroy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Our concern is that we have not been able to locate Carl. Okay. And some of the information that we've gotten said that he was at your staying or came around your apartment several months back, quite a few months back, and that he and Leroy had a close relationship with each other. They were friends, and that there may have been some sort of altercation between the two of them. And we're very concerned about KJ's whereabouts.
I mean, I never allowed KJ in my house.
How come?
KJ never knew where I lived. I didn't want anybody to know where I lived. The world's just shown me a pretty ugly side. Can't really trust anybody.
Casey is having trouble remembering her lies. She starts off by saying her kids have never met KJ, yet they call him Uncle KJ. When police point out that the kids told police they missed him, she backpedals, saying that they hadn't seen him because her husband was in jail, not because of, well, the fact that he's in her crawl space. Her lying only gets more messy as the interrogation goes on.
I hate to just beat around the bush. I was hoping that, we could kind of talk about this a little bit more, but our concern is that KJ may have been killed and that Leroy might have either have had something to do with it, might know something about it, something along those lines.
So it sounds like Arapahoe's trying to pin more murder charges on my children's father.
No, it doesn't have
For his best friend.
It's Jefferson County, and this has nothing to do with Jefferson County.
Jefferson County isn't pressing the charges of the murder of the man who's still alive that Leroy supposedly shot.
The attempted murder. Yeah. It's Jefferson County that has the case. But I spoke with the detective today. But that being said, they don't have anything to do with this, okay? And we are merely just we are doing our very best to, if Carl's still alive, we would like to know where he is. If he's not, we would also like to know where he is. From what we've heard, there's a chance, and it's clear what I'm asking here. We're talking about your crawl space. We had information that he might be in the crawl space.
So the people who here recently have been under my crawl space and been playing frequencies that me and my children have heard and scaring the living daylights out of us. Like, is anyone going to look at that then?
There's only one frequency that Casey should be concerned about. Jokes aside, a frequent side effect of substance use is psychosis and delusional thinking, which likely explains why Casey has latched on to every conspiracy theory you can think of. People spying on her, frequencies being played, police tracking her, and people inside her walls.
These are obviously pretty specific allegations. We didn't just make this up. Okay? And that's why I'm being straight with you. I'm showing you these pictures. I'm asking you all this information directly, okay? When we open the crawl space up, what are we going to find in there?
I don't know. I've never been under there.
Okay. Do you know if Leroy ever went under there? Would anyone else, would KJ have had a reason to be under there?
I don't even think KJ knew where I lived.
Okay. I guess I would ask then, and I don't have the direct information what the child said, but they obviously said they were missing Uncle Carl, that you mentioned. Would that have been at a time before you lived in the apartment that they were used to seeing him around, or?
No, it's not. It's never been a frequent thing that KJ's been around.
And I understand young kids. I mean, sometimes kids say
I mean, he's just an awesome person, dude. Even my children remember him for quite a few different reasons.
Okay. So would you call your relationship with between you guys close? I mean, obviously close enough that your kids like him.
I guess, yeah.
Okay. And it's not strange to you that he's just vanished, gone off the face of the earth?
I didn't know he was gone off the face of the earth. I don't keep track of my children's father's people.
Okay. Well, you just said you hadn't seen him for this amount of time.
He's not my friend. He's not my friend.
But he's, as I mentioned before, he's close enough that your kids call him Uncle KJ.
Because he's my children's father's best friend.
Okay. I understand that. I'm just trying to connect the
I don't
dots here.
have friends in my life, so that means my children don't have people in theirs. So when a big fat man comes around and makes my children laugh, and dad's laughing with them, and they talk about and reminisce about times from 20 years back, like, of course my children are going to remember that.
So they see Dad happy and they see Uncle KJ happy, and they like,
People don't visit us at our home. People have never visited us, so the very few people that have, my children remember.
So he did visit you at your home.
But now we're talking about 2020, dude. Like,
Okay, we keep going backwards. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
that's
I can't keep
my
those years straight.
children haven't seen him in a while. It was never anything frequent because he lived in Arizona with Jess.
Mhm.
I don't know much else. I know that he was here for a few different court dates for Leroy, and that's all I really know.
Casey, we have good reason to believe that Carl's dead and that you had a hand in burying him under your apartment.
You guys know how big this area is, right?
You didn't do it alone, though. We have reason to believe you and Leroy took care of him after Leroy killed him in your apartment, and that you helped Leroy bury him beneath that crawl space.
Those are some pretty sick allegations, man.
Tell me about it. We have very good reason to believe that. Like Detective Chamberlain said, we've got a search warrant. We're going to go in there and we're going to be finding out the truth.
The truth.
If Carl's in there,
My children's father is looking at homicide for a man that's alive. And Sierra helped me look at the papers. And it looks like when Leroy was sitting in this jail, when I couldn't find him anywhere, that Aurora did some pretty sketchy stuff. Because nothing on that case looks right. And now I'm hearing this.
I don't know anything about that case, Casey.
I know, but like I do. And
this-
it's just
what
kind
we're
of
here
scary
today
that
for
now
is-
there's,
has nothing to do with that case.
I know, but
So don't bring it up. Stay focused. Okay?
I didn't help anybody bury KJ. I haven't seen KJ in forever. Leroy hasn't killed anybody at my house. I have children at my house.
Did Leroy kill Carl?
No. Why? How long has KJ supposedly been missing?
We're not going to tell you how long he's been missing. You've not asked us really anything about Carl, though.
That's what I'm
like,
asking, is how
It's
long you
because
guys...
you already know what's happened to Carl. You know he's dead. Okay? You haven't shown any concern since we started here that,
Yes.
that you care where Carl is, or do we have information on Carl? This man is like
just
an uncle
asked
to your kids.
A man who has seen my children a few times.
You're the one who has described him as an uncle to your kids that makes them laugh. Okay?
I'm done talking.
He's like family.
I'm done talking. I was never allowed friends because of the relationship I was in. I'm done talking.
Well, that's fine for right now, and we're gonna go ahead and go forward with our search warrant. All right. That being said, and you don't have to answer this at all, okay? You told Sierra that Leroy killed Carl, and that he was buried under your apartment. Plain and simple. That's why we're here. Okay.
I told her this.
That's why we're here. Okay. And again, you don't have to say anything. All right. But that has been what has led us to this point. And every time we bring up the fact that he has been murdered and he is under your apartment, you get emotional. All right. You have an emotional response to
I'm
it.
sorry, I got emotional when I see my children's father's picture. That's emotional.
All right. Again, you didn't have. We're gonna take a little break here. Okay.
A break. I'm done talking.
That's fine.
I'm done talking.
Okay, that's okay. And we're just gonna step out then. All right. We'll have an officer outside. We will see if we can get you maybe like a drink of water or something like that. Okay.
Police leave Casey alone in the room for over an hour. When they finally return, they have news that she isn't going to like hearing.
I told you I'd give you some updates about your keys and everything. They are there. They're at the apartment, and we'll make sure that those get to you. Okay. It sounds like I think everything is squared away as far as your car, kids, the dogs. You know, I don't think we have any concerns there. Okay. Again, as we mentioned, you just have this traffic warrant that will get you processed, and hopefully that'll be that. Okay. Now, what I can tell you is we did make it into the crawl space, and we found more or less what we thought we would find. Okay? And I understand you were a little upset with some of the things we were saying. But we would like to come back and speak to you and just not be confrontational, nothing like that. We just want to talk to you, okay? But as I mentioned, our other detectives were over there and they did go into the crawl space we were talking about and well, that appears to be what we found.
Okay.
Okay.
Now what?
Well, that's kind of up to you. That's why we're coming here to talk to you. And we're kind of to that point where obviously we're going to have an ongoing investigation, right? There's a lot of work for us to do. But now is your time. Okay? Now is your time
I don't.
to say your piece.
My piece.
To try to give us, because you're not going to have. It would be unlikely that you're going to have another opportunity to give us your side of the story.
I don't even know anything about this.
Okay.
How would I have to say my piece with what?
Well, let me just, if you don't mind me explaining this to you, can I just sort of lay it out for you?
Please.
So, and just to show you, you talked about people making things up and things being contrived and stuff like that. Well, here's the thing. We got all this information, enough to the point where a judge felt like we had grounds to write a search warrant for this crawl space. And lo and behold, we go in there and we find exactly what we were talking about.
And
Those are a lot of coincidences. And all this information, everything that we have, came from your statements. Okay?
Excuse me?
It all came from your statements that were made. That's how we got all of this. Okay?
What statements were those?
You told somebody that TJ was buried in your crawl space. We didn't make this up.
I did not.
Well, we were told that.
Okay.
We were told that. And
You know what,
don't
man?
you think it... Hey, how about this? I'm just trying to explain to you how we got to where we got. And now we are where we feel like that we have located exactly what it was that we were questioning about. Would you like me to prove it to you?
No, I don't. I'm good, dude. I don't know what the hell is going on. I know I've been being followed for a year, and some pretty weird stuff has been happening left and right around me. And
And Casey, here's the deal. We're trying to be very respectful to you because we don't think that you're the primary person involved in this. We don't. That's why we're being, for lack of a better term, we're being soft. Okay? Because we don't think that you are the person who created this whole mess. Okay? But we do think you know about it. And we do think that maybe you were somehow involved in getting this under here. So this is your opportunity to decide where we're going to go with this.
I don't know anything about this.
Okay? Well, that's the problem. You can't sit and tell me that you don't know anything about it when the whole way we got here was by you telling somebody that this is what happened.
I never said anything to anybody about what you were saying I did.
To be fair, Casey probably doesn't remember telling Sierra about the crime. According to Sierra, Casey broke down and confessed the details of the crime to her while she was heavily under the influence, giving details even down to where they hid the body. While Casey was sitting in the interrogation room, police found KJ exactly where Sierra claimed they would. He was in the crawl space, covered over with concrete in a forgotten grave. According to the medical examiner and further investigation, KJ had been in the grave since around June 5th, 2022, meaning it took nearly a year for him to be found. Despite the evidence, Casey still isn't ready to admit how he got there.
So, by your assertion, somebody made up that you said that this person that you know as Uncle Carl was now buried under your crawl space, and we just go happen to find under that crawl space somebody who I am guessing is going to be Uncle Carl. That's all made up.
I mean, I didn't say that.
That's what you just told me. You just told me all that is made up.
No, yeah, all of that is made up because I didn't say that to anybody.
Well, that's not made up.
What the hell is that?
You tell me. It's under your house.
That looks like two pieces of wood, dude. Like,
You're right. That you are absolutely
know
right.
what's
This
going
looks like
on.
2 pieces of wood. What is this?
Do I look like I'm a criminal?
Did we say that?
No,
We didn't say that, did we?
I'm not
We never-
saying you said
We
that.
never accused you of being a criminal. We haven't made any comments
I would
on
like my lawyer then.
That's fine. So I'm going to say my piece. You please don't say anything because you asked for a lawyer. We're going to get you booked down in our detention center. Okay?
Am I gonna
It's for your traffic warrants right now. All right? That being said, this investigation is going to continue. Okay?
That would be nice.
Though the interrogation is over, everything the police have said to Casey plays on repeat in her head. She only lasts a few days before she contacts the detectives to tell them the truth. At least, the first version of the truth.
All right, Cassie. Well, we were contacted by your boyfriend, and he told us that you would like to speak to us.
Yeah.
I just want to confirm that is correct, that you would like to speak to us. Okay. Do you understand that before you asked for an attorney, right?
Yeah.
And do you understand that all those rights still apply to you?
Yeah.
Okay. With that being said, would you like to speak to us now?
Yeah.
Okay, Cassie, well, I'm sorry, Casey, I keep doing that. You reached out to us, all right, through your boyfriend, and you stated that you would like to speak to us. So what can we do for you? How can we help you? Or what can we do?
No, you probably can't help me. I just know that I don't want these charges placed on me because I did not do this.
Okay. That's fair. Does that mean that
Did you look at my past by any chance?
I mean, we've looked
Around the time?
We've looked at your criminal history.
Okay, did you get to see the pictures of what my face used to look like?
I mean, I've seen previous photos of you.
Of the black eye I had?
What are we getting at here?
What I'm getting at is, Leroy had me in a very bad relationship with him.
Okay. We understand that
I
there were
brought-
numerous domestic violence incidents. We definitely understand that.
I brought Leroy back around. I don't know why, because I thought, I don't know, to try our family again. Which didn't work, didn't end good.
So when you say you brought him back around, what do you mean?
I brought him to my new house shortly after I moved in.
Okay. Is that on Second there where we were today?
Yes.
Okay.
There was one night he was talking about him and KJ were having problems, and that he thought KJ was a rat. It was working with cops, and that it needed to be taken care of.
Okay.
And the next thing I knew, I was coming home from work. And when I got home, he was in my apartment. And KJ was already dead. In my bedroom. And he forced me to help him move KJ.
I'm sure this is very difficult for you.
No, I don't.
Do you know what had happened?
No. I know I seen a bag over KJ's head.
You saw
A bag.
A bag.
what kind of thing?
I don't know. It's just a bag. The white bags.
Like a white plastic sack.
Yeah. I don't know, like a white Walmart bag.
Like a grocery type bag? Okay.
You know, I've been
It's okay, take a little time.
I don't know, dude. I never thought that this would be my life. I never thought that anything that has unfolded in my life would be my life. But it is. And it's all from a man that I just should have stayed far, far away from.
Are we talking about Leroy?
I didn't understand. I told him I didn't want. He needed to do something else with this. That this was my home and mine and the children's home that I didn't want. No, we're not doing that.
We're not doing what?
Because he told me, he's like, you're gonna help me put him down below. And I was like, no. I was like, no, dude. So it was the dumbest idea he ever had on top of just killing him.
To say that this was Leroy's dumbest idea is definitely saying something, considering the sheer amount of mistakes he's made. However, surprisingly, in his interrogation for the murder of KJ, he somehow manages to make his first smart decision.
Andy!
Jeff. Can you sit down? How you doing this morning? Alright. We're detectives with the Aurora Police Department. We're in the Major Crime Section, okay? We're here to hopefully talk to you about a case we're investigating. I will let you know we're not here talking about your case that you're in custody of, okay? That's important that you understand that. It's also important you understand we record all our interviews, okay? We're actually required to do that by the state. I know you see all the cops with body cameras on. Now, because I do have you here, I am required to read you your rights, okay? And I assume you've been through that before and you kind of understand how that works. It's because you're in custody and I'm going to ask you some questions, okay? Are you cool with that?
I don't know. Last time I talked to cops, I ended up here.
Okay. Well, would you like me to... I can explain some things to you without reading the rights, but if I'm going to ask you questions, I obviously have to read your rights.
Can you explain something?
Okay. Would you like me to get it out of the way and we can come back to it, or would you like me to just get right to the chase. I mean, I prefer, because the problem is the second I start explaining things, you're gonna have questions. And then when you have questions, I can't interact unless I advise you of your rights.
Go
Okay?
ahead and explain something.
Okay. And of course, I have to rely on my technology here. All right. Now, this sounds like a silly question. Do you understand English?
Yeah, no, I mean, you said you could explain something, not read my rights.
Okay, that's fine. Just understand, though, that if we're going to start having a dialogue about things, that I'm going to have to go ahead with you. Okay, you understand that? All right. All right, you do understand that you are entitled to an attorney. I know you understand all that, right? Okay, and that you don't have to answer the questions. Okay. All right. You don't have to say anything. You can stay silent. All right. Well, if that's the case, I'll just go ahead and lay it out to you, okay? We're currently investigating a situation at the mother of your children's apartment, and that's Casey, right? Okay, and we are actually in the process of serving a search warrant there. Basically, we got some information which led us to get this search warrant and go into the apartment. All right. Now, I would like to ask you some things about that. That's why we're here. Okay. Now, I've sort of skimmed over the rights, but I would like to do that. Okay, if you don't mind. Okay, then we can go from there. Okay. Now, getting back to it. Do you understand English? I know it sounds silly, but
The detective reads him his rights, but he's sitting across from a man who has been there, done that, and has no interest in doing it again.
we're investigating a situation over at Casey's house. What I would like to do to start with is, if you don't mind, I'll just show you a photo of somebody and tell me if you can tell me who it is. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, it's
Okay. Who is it?
KJ.
KJ? Who is KJ to you?
Yeah, he was one of my friends. I haven't seen him for about a year.
Okay.
Last time me and him talked, he said he was gonna go back to Arizona. He was gonna leave.
Okay. Well, he's been missing, just like you said. We're trying to find out what's going on with him, okay? So, you said the last time you saw him. Do you know about when that was?
I don't. It's been a while, like a year.
Okay. So, would it be fair to say, I know you guys had some contacts, like with police and stuff, way back in Castle Rock. Does that sound accurate? And again, I'm not asking questions about that case. I'm not concerned about the case of Castle Rock. But I
So what does those have to do on girls going on? So
okay. Well, we're basically investigating his disappearance. Okay. We're the major crime section. We investigate missing persons and homicides. Okay. So we're
the fact
investigating.
that I was in here for talking to a cop,
I'm sorry?
as in the fact that I'm even being charged with something I didn't do for talking to a cop, I think I'm done.
Okay.
Because I literally was helpful to the cop I talked to, and I'm gonna face him with charges
Okay.
for something I didn't do. So
Well, I don't have anything to do with that,
I know, but still, I think I'm done. Alright?
I think it's important, Bud, that you understand that you're not, it doesn't start this investigation.
That's fine. I think I'm still done. You need to talk to him.
No, I don't, hear me out. You don't have to say anything, just hear me out. Right, he talked to you about the search warrant. We did have that search warrant yesterday. Right, we already found it again. We know what it is. Right, we've talked to a lot of people and also have knowledge about it. And I can tell you that right now, all fingers are pointing to you. This is your opportunity, because what happened to KJ and where he is and how he's buried, that's not a one-person job, right? There's other people. And unfortunately, if you're not the one that talks, and if you don't get your side of the story out, then what we have is we have the physical evidence. We have all the information that led us up to finding KJ, the physical evidence, and everybody pointing their fingers at you, which means you take the brunt of everything, right? So I know you're already in here on the attempt murder charge. We have enough information right now to file first-degree murder charges on you. So now you have an attempt murder charge, and you're gonna have a first-degree murder charge out of Arapahoe County, right? This is your opportunity to say what everyone else is saying, isn't the way that it went down, right? I don't know, maybe you didn't have anything to do with it. Maybe you came home and somebody else had already killed him, and you guys are like, what do we do, KJ? Let's put it here. Okay, alright, good.
Back in Casey's interrogation, she does just the opposite of Leroy.
I don't even know what month it was, man. Literally, I do live next to national security. There are holes being drilled through my wall.
Okay.
On top of this, there's been other deaths that have happened in that house that I was not aware of. Like, I've been spiritually attacked for months. I sit there over the past year, and KJ's never been someone who's constantly been in my children's life, but my children bring him up, my children talk about him.
Well, so let's, and I hate to kind of come back to something really traumatic, but let's talk about, you say Leroy made you help move KJ
He
down
said
under
he
there.
couldn't move him by himself.
Okay,
I told him I didn't want to.
okay.
I tried to leave, he grabbed my arm.
So did you guys pick him up and put him down there?
He forced me to drag him.
Drag him? Was there blood anywhere?
No, I didn't see any blood anywhere.
Do you see any weapons, like anything at all, from knives to baseball bats or
I
anything?
mean, I have weapons all over my house.
Did any of them appear to have been used?
No,
Not even a blunt object, like a
no.
battery. So this bag that's around his head, was it completely covering his head, like tied off around the neck or anything?
It was just there was that.
How did the cement and all that stuff get down there? I know we showed you the photograph. How did all that end up down there?
Because he thought it would be smart to cover him in cement.
Leroy did?
Yeah.
And how long did that take? Did he go and do that night? Or that day? Did he do it over the course of a few days?
I think he did it the next day.
Okay. Do you know where he got the supplies?
No.
Did he dig a hole? Did he?
He told me he dug a hole.
Okay. And then what?
No, I told him I refused to go back down there. This was his mess, and I didn't want to have anything else to do with it.
So did you ever go after dragging KJ into the crawl space? Did you ever go down there?
Then I had to help move him.
Hey Casey, look at me a second, okay? I know this is really hard. This is not easy, I know it. So take a breath, compose yourself the best you can, and just try to walk us through the whole event. From you coming home and finding what you found to,
Is this gonna help me any?
well, you
That's
let me tell you this, you've made the decision to give us your side of the story. Okay, and that's a decision that you made, and you've already started down that route.
yeah.
And I think what you've explained to us for a reason. Okay?
Because I don't.
You feel like it's not your fault what happened, right?
It's not my fault.
Well, then that's why I want you to explain in as much detail as possible what happened. If you feel it's not your fault what happened, that's what you're explaining to us, is what it sounds like to me.
That doesn't sound. That still sounds pretty. Okay.
Well, we will be 100% frank with you. The charge that we are charging tonight is not going to go away, okay? That being said, it is so important for us to have your side of the story because we will get a greater understanding of what actually happened and how involved you actually were. This is obviously a very serious situation.
I know it's serious,
So-
yeah.
Serious is kind of an understatement. At this point, Casey is facing the possibility of being tried as an accessory to felony murder. Accessory charges can, depending on the severity of the crime, result in life in prison, which is why police continue to dig for information, and Casey continues to give it to them, hoping to weaken the extent of her criminal involvement.
But it's important for us to understand exactly what your role was.
I didn't want a role in it.
I know, but you ended up in it.
Yeah, because the man told me he'd hurt me if I didn't help him.
Okay, and this is what we're getting at, is these details are important. To know how you ended up in this awful situation that was not your doing.
Months prior, dude, like, Leroy put his hands on me. That's why we got in all of this. Was because he got back on drugs. And he hit me. My eye all up. And I was scared. Dude,
We believe
Dude,
it. We
10 years
believe
older
that you
than
were
me.
scared. We do. We believe you. We're not saying that you shouldn't have been scared. We absolutely understand. Did he make any statements to you, threats to you, anything like that when this was?
He hurt me if I didn't help him.
You said that Leroy was upset because he thought KJ was snitching or ratting to the police. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Was that before all of this happened?
yeah.
And you said that he said something like it had to be dealt with. I don't want to be putting words in your mouth, okay? So if I'm wrong, please correct me.
No, that's not at all what I said, man.
Let's rewind just 12 minutes.
Him and KJ were having problems, and that he thought KJ was a rat. It was working with cops, and that it needed to be taken care of.
Yep, that's what I thought she said.
Well, I thought you said something along those lines. Maybe I'm mistaken. So what did he say?
God, now I'm just like confusing myself. But I just know I didn't do this.
Okay.
I know that I was scared of a man who had just physically hurt me and it put me through mental and physical for 10 years.
Okay.
When I tried to walk out of my house, he grabbed my arm.
This was the day that this happened?
This was when I walked in my house and I seen what was up, which was KJ on my floor dead.
What part of the floor?
It was my bedroom.
Your bedroom. Okay.
You said he was on the bed, right?
No, I didn't say he was on the bed. This is why I'm like, I'm not trying to.
And we're not trying to put words in, just sometimes.
No, but I feel like you guys are trying to confuse me, and
No.
I'm not wanting to be confused. I just want to tell you guys what happened.
Okay.
And then I guess
We're not
go
trying.
spend more time in prison, jail, whatever it is.
We're not trying to confuse you at all. Sometimes we just get a few things mixed up
He
and we
made
just
me
try to
drag
clarify.
him from where my bathroom-ish area, that's where he was laying. It was like right in front of my bathroom-ish area.
Okay.
Dude, he had a bag over his head. He told me that he was gonna hurt me if I didn't help.
Okay. Now this may seem like a silly.
And I dragged him from that area to the cutout that was in my bathroom or my closet. And then I told him I was done, and he's like, no, you have to help me. I can't move him.
Can you walk us through what happened from there after?
Yeah, I helped pull him.
Down into the hole?
No, just over, because he fell. He fell.
Into the hole?
He fell out of the freaking closet, dude. He fell down. There was no hole. He fell. And he
In the dirt?
whatever that shit was.
No, in the crawl space is what you're talking about, is that right?
So you were actually in the crawl space dragging him.
Was he down in there with you, helping drag him?
Yeah.
Because that had to have been pretty hard.
That's when I told him I was done. I was like, I'm done. Dude, I remember having to crawl over KJ. I just remember not wanting to be there. Not wanting that to be my house.
Did he still have the plastic sack on his head when he was buried?
I don't know.
Do you ever know what
As
happened
soon
to
as
that
we
sack?
I don't know what happened with that. I know that the next thing I do, the next day, Leroy came over with cement.
What
I
type of,
didn't go down there. I didn't want to know.
what type of cement? Was it a? Okay.
Did he have his own tools with him? Like shovel or anything like that to do the mixing?
It's what he did.
Did he do construction?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had his tools from his construction.
Okay.
Did he bring a third party into this? It was just him.
Do you know if he told anyone about that?
Probably not. As you know, he's sitting there telling me that if I tell anybody, he'd kill me. So
Did you guys ever speak of it again?
In spite of Casey's claims that she is finally telling the truth, 3 months later, the truth changes yet again. With the assistance of her counsel, she asks to speak to law enforcement.
Well, we kind of were saying initially we just give you another chance to kind of tell us about what happened that day. And then from there, we can ask some more questions.
I don't remember why KJ was coming over that evening, but KJ was coming over, and I didn't know it was coming over. All I really remember is that Leroy had a 9mm on him, and that when he seen my cameras, that KJ was at my door. He told me that I was going to do what he was telling me to do. I don't remember if it was that day or previous days, but he was talking about KJ was trying to set him up. They were both part of, I don't know, they both got in trouble, but KJ was trying to set him up. So I opened the door, and the next thing I know, KJ had my 20 gauge in his hand. Leroy? Yeah. Did I say KJ?
You did.
Leroy had my 20 gauge. Oh, the next thing I remember is KJ was in my bedroom. And Leroy, to me, it felt like it lasted for hours. My kids were sleeping, so it was probably, I don't know, 1 in the morning when KJ got there. I remember Leroy hit him with a hammer at one point in front of my bed. And then he told me to go get a bag. And he said that there was people outside watching the house for him. he ended up trying to use the bag on KJ, and KJ ended up getting out of it. Like I said, this lasted for hours. And the next thing I remember is he told me to go wait in the living room. Where I kind of just sat there. I was kind of scared because he said that there was people outside waiting for me if anything did happen. And then the next thing I know is it was getting time for like my kids to be waking up, and I walked in the bathroom, or in my room, and in the bathroom he was pulling on something. I think it was a wire that was attached to KJ's neck. He told me that he was going to hurt me if I didn't help him after it was done. And I don't know. I had to help him slide the body out of the bathroom. He forced me to clean up all of the blood. And then I sat with that like that for probably 2 days until they came back with cement. And that's when he covered him with cement. And that's pretty much all of it. Not pretty much, that's all of it.
Okay. Well, I'm sure that's probably pretty difficult to go back through all that.
I've been going through it for about 5 months. Longer than that, because I've sat on top of his body for about a year. And I didn't know that there was things looking for KJ.
You mean like police or just
Yeah,
people looking for
just people that I guess his mom had something on Facebook. I never looked. I didn't want to look.
KJ's mother was desperately looking for him. Having not heard from him for over a year, she set up a Facebook page looking for tips, which is how Sierra found her to give her the information she heard from Casey herself. KJ's mother then contacted the police, which means, in a way, she was the one who was able to help get justice for her son. Because what he went through, no one should have to experience.
So now that we've gone through that, and I'm sorry I had to back up a little bit there, but now the sun's starting to come up and kids are waking up. It's
Getting
time for them.
close to waking up.
Okay,
I
so
walked back there and all I seen was KJ on the right side of my toilet, and where I had a wire wrapped around his neck, and he was pulling on it from my bathroom, like my shower. It was wrapped around the shower.
okay, so KJ is being pulled around the neck with this wire, and that wire is wrapped around the shower head, the shower curtain,
Shower door.
shower door. Okay. And I'm sorry, I don't remember what your shower looked like.
It was a sliding stand-up shower.
Okay, with a door, a
Yeah.
sliding door. Okay, so it's over the door. So at that point, did KJ look like he was still alive? No. All right. And what made? And I'm sorry, I know this is tough.
What made me think
What made
that?
you think he was dead? Or how did you know?
Because
he was
clearly that's what Leroy wanted that night, was to kill him. And he let go of it.
the wire?
Yeah. And all I remember was he was crying.
Leroy was.
Yeah.
Did he say anything specific that you remember?
I don't remember.
But he was crying. You'd mentioned that there was something over Carl's head. Is that right?
At one point,
Okay. Was it at this point?
I don't know, I remember, I'm pretty sure he was covered.
Covered with
Because
what?
I don't remember seeing his face, dude. I don't remember his face. I don't really want to remember the face.
When we spoke to you the second time, last time when we were taking you over to the jail, and you gave us kind of a better account of what happened, why not give us the whole story then?
I was so scared.
Okay. And scared of what?
Leroy, of what was going to happen to me, my safety, my kids' safety. Leroy still knows where my kids are at, and that doesn't really put me past him, that he wouldn't do something to hurt them.
Elsa, is there anything else that you were like, this is something that's really important for us to know that we just didn't think to ask?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that Leroy also did a really good job of making Casey scared about what her involvement was, and so that is some hesitation as well.
And do you agree she hasn't like had a lot of access to photos in this case to just like sit and stare at them?
Yeah, I mean, we've gone over paper discovery, but like she knows what her apartment looks like. She didn't want to look at autopsy photos of a person.
I think that's the most important one for us, just because some of the things she said definitely match, but if she's seen it in an autopsy photo, it's not as compelling, obviously, from
a lot of times clients don't have interest in looking at it.
I mean, I don't want to be there, so I get it. Okay, I just want to make sure that's something, obviously, so that is helpful as far as showing that the information she gave us is true information. Well, thank you for coming. I know it's not easy, and basically at this point what will happen is we'll kind of end this, and Elsa can definitely tell you no more, but we'll chat. We will talk with Elsa and kind of go from there on what, if we're going to give anything as far as what's called a cooperation agreement for testimony and things like that. We'll definitely talk with Elsa. Elsa will go over that with you and all of those things.
As a result of the overwhelming evidence, Leroy was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Due to the attempted murder charge he was already facing at the time of his questioning for this crime, he was also given an additional 16 years. He won't be eligible for parole until 2066. As for Casey, she pled guilty to being an accessory to a crime and received a deferred judgment, meaning if she meets certain requirements, she likely won't serve any time behind bars.